And welcome to your 2026 money horoscope. So, here today I'm going to explore how the energies of 2026 will influence your rising sign from the financial perspective. So, we are going to look at the second house influence. And here I chose what I thought were significant events that you should know about that will especially influence your money sphere in 2026. So let's dive straight into it. I chose to make this video in a slide format so that you can see and take notes of the dates and the degrees that will be especially important for you to remember. And these horoscopes are most accurate for your rising signs. However, you can also watch them for your moon sign or your sun sign just to get a bigger picture and a wider perspective upon your financial area of your life. So thank you very much, and let's begin. Hello, Aries, and welcome to your 2026 financial forecast. There isn't that much happening this year in the sign of Taurus apart from Uranus departing Taurus. So I had a deeper look at your second house ruler. And this is, of course, Venus. So, what's happening with Venus? Venus is very active this year, which will have a very significant impact upon your financial area of your life, which means that here on January the 6th, as we begin January, there is a Venus Cazimi happening at 16 degrees of Capricorn. So, this is a superior conjunction between Venus and the Sun. And this is the middle cycle of the Venus cycle that started last year. So you could compare this Venus Cazimi to Venus, it's like a full moon. So full Venus. And here Venus Cazimi. So what happens after this superior conjunction is that Venus will become an evening star until it turns retrograde later in the year, and there's another Cazimi which we'll explore in a moment. But here in the meantime, on the 6th of January, the Cazimi at 16 degrees of Capricorn, this is like a financial full moon for you. And this is also a moment where many things in the financial area of your life might become clear. You might realize which financial decision, which financial direction path is worth investing your time, your energy into, especially as you entering this brand new year. So generally here, as Venus becomes an evening star after this conjunction, after this Cazimi, this is generally a transition of Venus into her evening star phase. So this indicates that your financial energy softens and attracts rather than chases. So it's about attracting, not necessarily forcing outcomes or chasing opportunities. So in this phase, generally, this is when opportunities come to you more naturally. And in these first 2 quarters of 2026, you might notice that perhaps opportunities or clients or some supportive people come to you naturally. And this is a time of receiving instead of pushing or forcing things. It's about acting wisely, consciously rather than impulsively. But at the same time, this is an amazing opportunity as you dive deeper into 2026 to align your income prospects, income opportunities with the direction that your life is heading, with generally opportunities that feel in alignment with your purpose, especially since, of course, this is a very important year for you as Saturn and Neptune enter your first house. So you are starting this brand new phase of your life. You're laying the foundations for the next decades of your life. So here, Venus becoming an evening star will, in a way, teach you to allow things to come to you without forcing them, without forcing the outcomes, without too much effort overall. Now, so these are the important energies overall of these initial months of 2026. And at the same time, these first 4 months of the year, this is also when Uranus, the planet of the unexpected, the unforeseen, sudden situations, events, will be staying in Taurus in your second house, and it will be preparing for this major departure after about 7 years. So what does it mean for you in terms of your finances? Here with Uranus in those final degrees of Taurus, this is when you might experience this intense pressure to attend to matters that perhaps you overlooked, you didn't have chance to address, to complete. This is also when you might experience or have this inner need even to implement some important changes that will help you to establish more stability in the financial area of your life. You might realize and see generally that perhaps some old themes, patterns, structures around money, around your income, around your financial management. This is also when you will begin to integrate the lessons that you learned over the last 7 years. So at the same time, this is a time also to think what worked for you in terms of your money situation during Uranus in Taurus transit. Which financial opportunities, shift, changes that occurred during this time were beneficial for you and perhaps which weren't. So this is also a good chance for this big major evaluation as well. Now, as we move forward in June, there is this beautiful, beautiful conjunction between Venus and Jupiter in the sign of Cancer. And of course, Venus being the ruler of your second house, this is a very significant, one of the luckiest financial days of 2026, because here with Jupiter, while Jupiter is connected to growth and expansion, Venus is your financial planet. It rules your income, finances. So here when your money ruler, money house ruler meets with Jupiter, the planet of growth, abundance, opportunities, this is a time when new opportunities connected to financial growth, pay rise, for example, could emerge. During this time, you might start a long-term project. This could be about a pay rise, new financial prospects, opportunities coming your way, or perhaps you might be making an important decision that could positively impact your financial security overall. Now, at the same time here, as we move forward, between October and November the 13th, Venus turns retrograde in the sign of Scorpio and in the sign of Libra. So this is a major review time for you, especially when it comes to money, finances. It's a time when Venus is ending and starting another. Venus retrograde overall is about posing, especially if it impacts your finances. It's about reflecting about your money spending habits, your outgoings, and generally your relationship with money. So this isn't a time for new activities, new financial ventures, but rather for refinements, adjustments, for example. So during this retrograde, try to avoid making any major new financial commitments. This is a time to review, reassess any financial agreements, contracts. For example, it's a good time for reevaluating any important partnerships, collaborations, especially those that impact your money situation, your money sphere. And at the same time, also around this time, and that's on October the 23rd, Venus will conjoin with the Sun, Venus retrograde. So this is a Cazimi at 0 degrees of Scorpio. So this is generally when Venus is going to be preparing to become a morning star. So I remember at the beginning of this forecast, I told you about Venus becoming an evening star. So here on the 23rd of October, Venus will reborn in a way, and it will become a morning star. So that on 23rd of October. So we are here switching from attracting to acting, to taking action. So Venus, the inferior conjunction is when Venus is retrograde. It conjoins with the Sun, but also this is a brand new cycle, the initiation, the beginning of the brand new cycle. And this is when you're moving into a phase, energy connected to taking the initiative overall. Venus becomes very powerful. And since this is your second house ruler, this could signify here those final months of 2026, like a momentum phase. perhaps some financial goals moving forward, financial opportunities picking up. It will be also easier to make decisions related to your money situation. So you might find yourself launching something new, or perhaps starting some new contracts, for example, as well. So it's all about here taking these steps forward, experiencing that momentum from the financial point of view. And on November the 14th, Venus turns direct in Libra at 22 degrees. So here, Venus is turning direct, and imagine Venus becoming a morning star now after that inferior conjunction. So this is especially when you'll begin to feel that forward energy and a major relief at the same time after a time that could have brought some confusions. And at the same time, Venus turning direct. Venus could bring some insight, thoughts, realizations, important messages about your direction, about your financial goals. This is a moment of letting go of what doesn't serve you, but perhaps whether this is some old financial patterns, goals, even financial obligations that no longer support your growth. And at the same time, this is a chance to also step into something new, some new financial opportunities, some new financial energies. So this is what I've got for you today, Aries. So thank you very much, and look at it. So hello, Taurus, and welcome to your 2026 money horoscopes. It is a massive, massive year for you because we've got Uranus, the planet of unexpected, unforeseen, is coming to your second house of finances, is leaving your area of the self, of your identity. So you spend the last 7 years reinventing your reality, your life. And here this year, Uranus, on April the 25th, Uranus enters your second house of Gemini. So you had a little flavor of this transit in 2025 between July and October. And in 2026, Uranus enters your second house for the next 7 years or so. So first of all, here, Uranus is the planet of innovation, liberation, disruption. And with Uranus entering your second house, this means that you will completely reinvent, or you'll have an opportunity to completely reinvent your financial world. You are stepping into a brand new chapter. Uranus will help you to completely reinvent this area of your life, but also to free yourself from any restricting financial obligations and attachments. So generally expect during this time a major, major shift in how you make money, in how you earn money, your relationship with money overall. This could indicate also career changes into something, perhaps something more flexible, something more on your own terms, maybe an online role or something to do with media, technology, digital, as per that Uranian influence. This could also indicate that perhaps you will think about having a side hustle. You might still keep your job, but perhaps you might have multiple income streams, or perhaps you might diversify your financial structures in one way to another. But here, Uranus will bring some new technologies, new ways to kind of manage your finances. At the same time, Uranus brings a massive desire for independence, autonomy. Uranus generally helps us to break away from what's limiting, from what's daunting. So this could also manifest this transit as generally a major breaking point, especially when you'll be breaking away from patterns, themes, habits, obligations that keep you stuck in your life, that hold you back, that if you feel like your current job, career is undervaluing you, and that if you feel like you're underpaid, then Uranus will give you the courage to put your foot down and make a difference. So it's a really interesting 7 years, without a doubt. But here on May 22nd, Uranus and the Sun will conjoin. So we've got a Uranus Cassini happening, and that's on May 22nd at 1 degree of Gemini happening in your second house. So here, this Kazimi could generally feel very electrifying, and it's like a momentum moment day, if you will. And it's like a breaking point or a wake-up call to some kind of new opportunities that may appear completely out of the blue. That's Uranus. With Uranus, things happen quickly, suddenly, and unexpectedly. So generally keep this date in your diary, May the 22nd, because this day, this Kazimi could bring some sudden unexpected opportunities that could help you to improve your finances. This could be about a new job offer, even a new idea that may come up completely unexpectedly, completely out of the blue. Now, during this time, you might also have some strong realizations in terms of what changes you can implement in your financial life that could help you or redirect you in the more prosperous direction. But yeah, so keep an eye for new opportunities during this time. And this could also see you moving away, stepping away, breaking free from some stagnant situation, energies during this time that feel kind of overly stagnant. So these are the two major events I wanted to tell you about for the upcoming year. Thank you so much, Taurus. And now let's have a look at Geminis. Geminis, welcome to your Money 2026 horoscope. So you've got Cancer on your second house cusp. So this indicates that we will look at whatever is happening in Cancer this year. And that's, of course, Jupiter. Jupiter is in Cancer. And we've got a beautiful conjunction in Cancer with Mercury retrograde in Cancer and a Kazimi as well. So 4 events we'll look at today. First of all, Jupiter is in your area of money until round about the 29th of June. So we are continuing with these energies, and Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, good fortune. In a square of our position, it can bring those moments where we might feel like we want to take unnecessary risks, when we want to overextend ourselves. But overall here, with Jupiter transiting over your second house until June 2026, this is your opportunity for expansion in your financial sector, in your income situation, resources as well. And because this is also the Cancerian energy that is influenced by Jupiter, this transit also directly influences your emotions, your feelings. So generally your financial decisions might be driven by your emotions, by your feelings. So generally listen to your gut, listen to your intuition during this time, because you might get a lot of answers to your financial questions, goals through your thoughts, feelings, instincts. Pay attention to when Jupiter aspects your natal planets, especially by trines or sextiles during this time, because this especially indicates a time of growth opportunities for financial advancement. Jupiter transiting the second house, Jupiter being traditionally associated with learning, expansion, teaching. So very often opportunities with this transit come through writing, through teaching, through communication-based work. With Jupiter in Cancer, it's essential to also spend your money wisely. This is also a good transit for investing in self-development, in any skills that could help you to increase your earning potentials. Overall, with Jupiter in the second house, financial growth comes through knowledge, comes through expansion of your skills. Now on June the 9th, we've got a beautiful alignment between Jupiter and Venus in your second house. That's June the 9th at 25 degrees of Cancer. This is happening in your second house as well. So definitely take note of this date, because this is a day when abundance, opportunities, financial potentials of some kind will flow naturally for you. So perhaps you might receive some unexpected financial opportunity, or a payment, or a gift, or a bonus, for instance. Or perhaps you might secure a new deal or a client, or perhaps this could be about an opportunity that feels emotionally aligned, emotionally supportive. So this kind of energy, this kind of combination, because both Venus and Jupiter feel fantastic in Cancer, and it is happening in your second house of money as well. It's not like the kind of energy that's forced. It's like an easy flow of energy, easy flow when new opportunities, doors open up, even in the least expected moment. Now, on June the 29th until July the 23rd, Mercury, the planet of communication, mindset, rational thinking, and of course your chart ruler, will turn retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So this is also really important because this is your second house where your financial area of life is. So first of all, here, Mercury retrograde. So this period isn't good for rushing with any financial decisions. It's not a good time for signing any financial contracts. This is a time to reassess, reevaluate your budget, double check any important financial contract. It's a good time to reevaluate any client agreements or any financial structures in your life, for example. It's a good time for redoing, reassessing, reviewing anything new. Leave it after the 23rd of July. And finally, the final event I wanted to mention today is Mercury Cazimi in Cancer at 20 degrees on July the 12th. So another really important event in your second house. And it's a clarity moment in many ways because here, Cazimi, let me remind you, is when the Mercury and the Sun conjoin here in the sign of Cancer at 20 degrees. So it's a very short lasting influence, but it could bring the much needed clarity to something that you've been dealing with. Something that felt confusing. Bear in mind, this is happening during the retrograde phase of Cancer. So generally with this Cazimi and Mercury being retrograde, during this time, things that perhaps have felt unclear, something that occurred around here, July and June period, could suddenly start to make sense. With the retrograde of Mercury, it has to be something related to past experiences, ideas, thoughts. For this reason, you will be gaining a certain degree of understanding, seeing some patterns much more clearly, something that you've been trying to understand for quite some time. So it's a very good day for reviewing important contract, for analyzing and adjusting, reviewing some financial plans. This day can bring really interesting insights, and it's like a financial reset in a way. So thank you so much, Geminis. And let's have a look at what's happening for Cancers in your money area in 2026. So this is a very important year here. We've got Leo energy influencing your financial sector, of course. And there's a lot happening in Leo this year, in 2026, 2027 until 2028. We've got Jupiter entering Leo, we've got the eclipses as well, starting on Leo and Aquarius axis. And we also have the South Node entering Leo. And of course, Jupiter as well. So there is a lot of influence and some really good opportunities for improving your financial situation. These opportunities don't come very often. These are the cycles that can help you to grow financially speaking. Then things, the energies will move to different houses, there'll be different themes influenced. But here in 2026, this is where your financial sector is really prominent. All right, so first of all, in June the 29th, Jupiter enters your area of the second house, so Leo, for 12 months. And this is a time when, generally for 12 months, not all the time, but there will be opportunities coming up where you will be able to improve your finances. So opportunities for growth, for career advancements, business launches, new clients, for example. This is a time also good for investing in yourself, in your own skills. Very often with Jupiter transiting our second house, this is a good time for investing in our skills and talents that we can use professionally in our profession, in our business overall. So with Jupiter transiting your second house here, Leo energy, for some this could manifest as generally more visibility, some new job, career, business opportunities. Here, with Leo being the sign associated with leadership and empowerment to a certain degree as well. This could also see you starting some new projects, side hustle businesses overall, some new roles that could generally put you in the spotlight. And this is also a good time for engaging in some creative ventures, engaging in some new income streams, something connected to your skills, something connected to your talents as well. So Jupiter in Leo could make you shine. This is generally with the energy of growth, expansion, with the energy of Leo, which is connected to courage, which is connected to taking decisive action as well. This is in many ways a time of greater visibility, opportunities that should be faced with courage, approached with a lot of enthusiasm as well, because they will bring a lot of rewards, visibility, and confidence as well. And of course, financial expansions as a result. So 12th house influence. And in July also, July the 26th, the South Node will enter Leo. So the nodes change signs every 18 months. You've got the karmic energy here, very often with the North Node transiting the 8th house, the South Node, the 2nd house. Opportunities often come through others more than here through your own efforts. So you might find yourself moving away from any patterns, themes, financial entanglements, obligations that don't serve your growth anymore. So this is also about facing some fears, negative habits generally that might surface around here and in the 18 months following the 26th of July. And this is generally also and this is an opportunity for you to acknowledge them and at the same time release them. So this is an 18 months influence. You will be reinventing this area of your life. You will be getting rid of lots of things that you don't need. So you might go through this major clear out phase, but it looks like you'll be reinventing your relationship with money as well, letting go of even some limiting beliefs, maybe some financial schemes and that don't serve your growth anymore. Now, here and of course, with Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house, so this could also indicate a major career reinvention. Jupiter brings those amazing opportunities for growth, expansion, and the nodes will further activate and the eclipses this area. So you will be going through big shifts in your money area. And this often is connected to job changes, career changes as well, for the better. All right, so on the 29th, we've got a Cazimi as well in Leo. So the sun and the moon, and the sun and Jupiter will align in Leo. And that's July the 29th at 6 degrees of Leo. Really magical. It's always good to take notes of these important Cazimis, especially if they influence our areas of interest. So here, of course, the money area. So the 29th brings that Kazimi in Leo, and this could be a moment of major clarity. This is also around the time when Mercury retrograde would have finished in your first house in Cancer, and with them Jupiter Kazimi. This is like a momentum clarity moment. And this is also a day when you might have some really interesting realizations, insights, things that perhaps you either overlooked, didn't notice. You might exactly see where you are or where you should be financially speaking. Krimi could also help you understand what holds you back or who holds you back from achieving your financial goals. Generally, this is a time, along with the South Node, when we will be preparing for the solar eclipse in Leo as well. This is a time to let go of any negative financial habits, entanglements. And it's a big, big phase because we will have a South Node solar eclipse prior or after this Kazimi. So this could be a clearing stage for you before this big eclipse comes up, the very first eclipse in Leo of this brand new cycle. Because on August the 12th, we've got a solar eclipse in Leo happening at 20 degrees of Leo. Solar eclipses are connected to new beginnings. And with the south node, very often something is eclipsed out of our life, something that doesn't serve our growth, something that makes us feel stuck. So this is an eclipse that could bring some endings and, of course, new beginnings with the solar energy. It could feel like a major financial reset. And this could be a time of some new job prospects, a promotion, for example, new income stream. Generally, something that aligns with your skills, something that aligns with your abilities as well. So, this eclipse could act like a major boost of confidence. Leo energy is very charismatic, expressive. This isn't necessarily a time to play small. This is a time to make decisive decisions and to think about your career, your financial area from a much larger perspective overall. So, a really important and exciting eclipse for you here. Thank you very much, Cancers. And let's have a look at what's happening for Leos. Leos, welcome to your 2026 money horoscope. So here we've got a really interesting year because this year we're starting a brand new series of eclipses on Leo and Aquarius axis. So you'll be completely reinventing yourself between 2026, 2028. And here overall, you also have we are continuing this year with eclipses on Virgo and Pisces. And there is one final eclipse in Virgo in early 2027. In 2026, we've got lunar eclipse in Virgo. So that's your second house, of course. We still have the South Node in Virgo until July 2026. So, and generally, this year is still influencing your financial area of life. First of all, on March the 3rd, we've got a lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo, and this eclipse is happening at 12 degrees of Virgo. So a lunar eclipse is like a very, very significant full moon. And what this means is that we need to think about the new moon that initiated this cycle, the new moon in the sign of Virgo in 2024. Think about those new beginnings that occurred in your life around September 2024 in your financial area of your life. Because with Virgo ruling over your second house, I imagine that you have already been through some financial shifts, changes, maybe job, career, business changes that came with that as well. And here, lunar eclipses generally bring major shifts, culminations, breakthroughs. This lunar eclipse could indicate some shifts, some changes in your income situation, which very often coincides with career shifts, changes in your organization, maybe seeing the first major fruits of a business that you launched 18 months prior. So, this is a time when this eclipse generally could reveal something that maybe was hidden or unclear, misunderstood, connected to money. So, perhaps some mismanagement of finances or perhaps opportunities that were previously overlooked. Whatever the scenario, this is a time to reassess your relationship with money. With eclipses, we don't rush abruptly. We need to see what is actually going on. And of course, Virgo is connected to the practical, grounded, earthy energy. So maybe it's time to reorganize your finances. Maybe it's time to perhaps implement some practical adjustments to this area of your life. A Virgo influence overall favors attention to the detail, efficiency. So changes that occur around this time will likely be more practical than purely emotionally driven. This is one of the final eclipses in this area of your life. There is another one in early 2027. While this eclipse could offer some opportunities for growth, at the same time, it looks like you might be releasing, letting go of what no longer serves you. And at the same time, it's time to also reassess your income. because this eclipse could bring some shifts, changes in your financial sector. As we move forward on July the 10th, we've got Venus and the South Node conjunction at 0 degrees of Virgo. And that's July the 10th. This is around the time when the nodes, the South Node, is going to be leaving this area of your life. The reason I'm mentioning this event is because it's at 0 degrees South Node. So there's a karmic undertone to this alignment. This is a time of letting go. Simultaneously, you make space for something new, more aligned to come into place. So whether this is about letting go of some financial entanglements, obligations, businesses that don't serve any purpose, or perhaps this could also see you moving away from some business partnerships, collaborations that drain your energy. This is a time when you will be reconsidering these important financial associations, collaborations, contracts. At the same time, if this could be also connected to even letting go of some financial arrangements, membership, subscriptions that don't serve you any good. All right, so the final event I wanted to discuss is Mercury Cazimi in Virgo. And this Mercury Cazimi is happening on the 27th at 4 degrees. So this is also around the eclipse in Pisces that will activate your 8th house. The solar point would have been in the 2nd house. So with the Cazimi, of course, this is a time of clarity and momentum, and it's the most practical financial day for you of 2026. This is a time of the year that could bring some interesting opportunities, situations, more clarity, more control over your finances. And this could be a time of some financial opportunities that may come your way, new contracts, new structures, new long-term goals, perhaps some financial moves, decisions that you will be making overall. So thank you so much, Leos. And now let's have a look at Virgos. So Virgos, welcome to your 2026 money overview. We've got a lot happening with the ruler of your 2nd house. So we will look at the ruler of your 2nd house. And first of all, we've got a Cazimi, Venus Cazimi in Capricorn at 16 degrees on January the 6th. This is generally Venus is so active this year that I had to go through that Venus energy, because this conjunction is not just a random conjunction. This is the middle of the cycle that started in 2025. This is equivalent to a full moon, so a full Venus. It's called a superior conjunction. After this conjunction, Venus will become an evening star. With Venus Cazimi, this is the first 2 quarters of 2026. This isn't a time to forcefully push things forward. It's a time to allow the energies to flow with ease, but at the same time, let the opportunities come to you without being too forceful. This could feel like a financial reset because Venus and the Sun Cazimi will be in the sign of Capricorn, which is connected to long-lasting energies, long-term planning, long-term security overall, and generally Venus becoming an evening star. This could indicate some new opportunities in these first 2 quarters of 2026 that may come through partnerships, through some creative ventures showing up externally. So this is a time in a way to act on opportunities. For you, this is a phase to, and this is also a chance to implement any financial intentions rather than waiting passively. Keep an eye out for these opportunities that come your way and then take action. Now, as we move forward on June the 9th, we've got a beautiful Venus and Jupiter conjunction happening at 25 degrees of Cancer. This is one of the luckiest days of the year because both Venus and Jupiter feel wonderful in Cancer. So this makes this conjunction very, very abundant and positive. Of course, Venus is your second house ruler as well. So June the 9th is definitely a day to keep in your diary because this could be a really lucky day for your finances, for financial prospects, opportunities could manifest. For some people, some opportunities connected to financial growth or perhaps some new partnerships, collaborations that could bring some really interesting long-term prospects connected to financial abundance, growth. That this could also indicate that you'll be making some important decisions around this time, decisions that will be long lasting. And here you're looking at a slightly bigger picture. You're looking at a slightly bigger angle, bigger picture. Since Saturn and Neptune are in your seventh house, yes, cautious, you're proceeding with caution. But at the same time, this could feel like a day when financial opportunities feel rather supportive, expansive, and they could feel like they are aligned with your instincts as well. Then on between October the 3rd until November the 13th, we've got Venus retrograde in Scorpio and in Libra. Of course, Venus rules your second house, so we're looking at Venus retrograde from a deeper angle. And this is a time when you'll be reviewing, reassessing your finances. Try to avoid launching any new businesses, new financial projects, for example. This is a time to review your outgoings, review your budget, audit your income, your spendings as well. It's a good time for reviewing contracts and for exploring some opportunities from the past. Opportunities from the past might resurface around this time. You don't have to make the final decisions during the retrograde phase. However, you could still give them a chance, another go. Bear in mind, during this retrograde, Venus will be in Scorpio at 0 degrees of Scorpio. That's what happens during the inferior conjunction, which influences your next cycle overall. That's the brand new cycle. Venus will become a morning star after this inferior conjunction. But here, this generally gives a lot of sharp, activates a detail-oriented energy. This is a time also of some opportunities, decisions. It's generally a time to have it in your diary to take note of this day. You could find clarity to some financial decisions, goals, opportunities that came up around this period. Now, at the same time, this Kazimi could also bring some interesting thoughts, insights, especially around money, your income, your spendings. Things that perhaps will make you realize the mistakes that you made in the past, things to avoid or prevent for future misunderstandings, misalignments. For example, Venus retrograde ends on October 25th, and this is when you'll begin to feel that forward momentum because money that perhaps was on hold might finally be deposited in your bank account. This energy brings clarity about partnerships, collaborations, business ventures overall. So when Venus stations direct any delays that you may have experienced during the retrograde of Venus, they will begin to resolve. The same with any payments or contracts that perhaps took forever to move forward, they will also begin to move forward more efficiently. Now, Venus Direct can also bring some new financial opportunities, improvements even in your income situation, in your money situation. So it's generally an action-oriented energy overall. So that's what I've got for you. Thank you so much. And let's have a look at Libras. Libras, welcome. Welcome to your 2026 money horoscope. All right, so we'll look at the important events of happening in Scorpio. I took into consideration Mars and Pluto because we don't have that much here in Scorpio. So I took into consideration the modern and the traditional ruler, which is Mars and Pluto. And what's happening this year? Of course, as we begin the year with Mars Kazimi in Capricorn at 19 degrees. So, of course, Mars being the traditional ruler of Scorpio. It's generally all the Kazimis. They are like very short lasting, but they often bring the clarity, the momentum, the insights that we've been looking or waiting for. So a great time, January the 9th or around that day. Oh, generally, this could be a time of some new insights, perhaps clarity in terms of where you stand financially, where you stand with your career path. Perhaps this could be connected to some new revenue streams or perhaps some promotions or some clients finally placing an order, for example. And this is generally a short lasting influence when you will feel very disciplined and focused. This is a day to definitely pay attention to because Mars is weak in January because it's combust most of the time, overpowered by the energy of the sun. So it could create some fear or the motivation in the financial sector overall. So take note of this day because it could bring some motivation, a light at the end of the tunnel. Then on the 23rd, we've got a Pluto Cazimi on the other hand. So that's the modern ruler of Scorpio, happening at 3 degrees. This is a very transformative energy, of course, because Pluto's intensity could bring some transformations in your finances, in your career. It's unlikely to be something huge unless you have a natal planet activated, but this energy could help you understand things that perhaps were invisible or hidden. So maybe some hidden dynamics, hidden situations that perhaps were not fully understandable, but at the same time, this energy could bring some realizations, insights, and generally. This Kazimi helps you understand what's happening behind the scenes in your business, in your career, in some client relationship, something that has connection to your money sphere, to your income. But at the same time, this could also be a time when you will make some really powerful decisions connected to your finances, to your income as well. Now, later in the year, because this year overall, Libras, this is a year of new contracts, connections in your life, partnerships with Saturn and Neptune in your first house. But at the same time, this is a big year for your career, and that's your 10th house, of course. So here, the money area is not that much influenced. That's Venus retrograde as well, Venus retrograde in Scorpio and Libra as well, but it starts in Scorpio. This retrograde will be between the 3rd and the 13th. And the interesting thing is that Venus will also experience another Kazimi, but in the sign of Scorpio as well, October the 23rd. So while Venus is retrograde in Scorpio, this isn't a good time, generally October the 3rd until November the 13th, for making any big financial decisions. When Venus is retrograde in your second house, this is a time to review, reassess your income situation, your outgoings, your spendings, your partnerships. So try to avoid starting new financial projects, ventures, businesses even. This is a time for reviewing, reassessing any agreements, collaborations, income streams overall. Venus here can really help you align or realign with what is balanced, with what is harmonious. It's a supportive energy retrograde when it comes to looking at your financial goals from the long-term perspective. Now, during the retrograde phase of Venus, Venus will also conjoin with the Sun. We've got the Kazimi conjunction in Scorpio at 0 degrees on October 23rd. Now, this is happening during the inferior conjunction of Venus. We have a superior conjunction in Capricorn on the 6th of January. This inferior one is when Venus becomes a morning star from the evening star. And at the same time, we're starting a brand new cycle. So this is really interesting because, of course, it's happening during the retrograde phase as well. But this is connected. There's something fresh, or this is about giving an opportunity, another chance, another go. So here with Venus being retrograde at the time of this inferior conjunction at 0 degrees of Scorpio, this is about going within. It's about re-evaluating. It's about reassessing your financial spending habits. It's about looking at these long-term earning potentials for you. This energy can help you understand what brings value, what brings wealth into your life. This energy can also help you decide which financial path is mostly aligned with your inner sense of self. Generally, after the inferior conjunction, after Venus stations direct and Venus starts its morning phase, this is a time of forward momentum. This is when you will be implementing the insights that you would have gained during the Kazimi, the Venus Kazimi, and it will be an opportunity to realign in those final months of the year into 2027. This is when you will start to attract opportunities in your work sphere, in your business sphere, perhaps in some creative personal projects or some creative income streams that truly align with your inner sense of self. Now, if we move forward, we've got a couple more events. On November the 13th, we've got Mercury retrograde between October 24th until November the 13th. There is Mercury retrograde in the sign of Scorpio, and that's your financial area of your life. During this retrograde, we will also have Mercury also in Scorpio at 12 degrees. So during this retrograde here, yet again, not a good time for starting a new business venture, financial goals. This is your chance for reviewing, reassessing your financial habits, spendings, your business outgoings, and try to avoid making any financial career decisions during this time. It's a time to reflect, reevaluate. Scorpio at 12 degrees on November the 4th. It can bring the much needed clarity that perhaps you may lack during the retrograde phase, especially in connection to something like an ongoing issue, for example, as well. This Kazimi could help you find solutions to something that feels unclear, uncertain in your financial matters, in your professional world, for example. Thank you so much, Libras. And let's have a look at Scorpios. Scorpios, welcome to your 2026 money overview. Here we will look at the ruler of your second house, mostly because we don't have any big transits in Sagittarius this year. But we've got Jupiter, your second house ruler is very active. And what is happening? So first of all, on June the 9th, we've got Venus and Jupiter conjunction at 25 degrees of Cancer. A beautiful alignment here in your area of the ninth house. But since Jupiter rules your money sphere, this is generally a time of some opportunities that may come your way. Aligned, abundant opportunities since both Jupiter and Venus feel absolutely fantastic in the sign of Cancer. So this is in a way one of the luckiest days of the year because here Venus and Jupiter conjunction on the 9th could bring some new financial opportunities. For some, this conjunction could bring some gains through investments, some bonuses even. Here we are looking at some expansive energies opportunities connected to some personal projects, perhaps some collaborations, partnerships. You might find yourself making some important financial decisions that could influence your life for quite some time. So generally, Jupiter expands anything that it touches, but it's essential that you stay grounded in reality. So don't chase immediate outcomes or immediate rewards. This is a time to definitely keep an eye on these opportunities that emerge around this time, but also remain strategic and look for opportunities that can help you bring more stability to your financial sector that look credible, that look lasting and realistic. At the same time with Jupiter, your ruler, second house ruler in the ninth house, generally financial opportunities come through teaching, mentoring, coaching, through engaging in self-growth, self-related activities, because these can help you boost your career, business-related prospects. And as a result of that, they can improve your finances as well. Financial opportunities may come through engagement in business international ventures with foreign cultures, foreign people, foreign matters, travel related businesses as well. And Jupiter changes signs on the 29th of June. Jupiter moves into Leo. That's your 10th house. amazing. This is a transit I've been waiting for a long time. I've seen other people receiving so much abundance during Jupiter's transits in the 10th house. This is a time of greater visibility, expansion in your career, and this can increase, amplify your income potential as well. So generally Jupiter in Leo, and of course the second house ruler in the 10th, brings more visibility, can help you step into a slightly more visible and interesting phase of your career as well. But it can also, of course, increase your income potentials as well. This is when your income can grow through engagement in some creative projects, projects where you can use your skills, when you can use your talents, anything connected to your skills, self-expression overall. And generally, this energy can make you feel more courageous. It can help you to take charge of your life as well. Generally, this is a year to invest in yourself, invest in your skills, in your abilities, because this can bring financial rewards and growth in this area. Now, here we've got Jupiter Kazimi as well in Leo. So, of course, Jupiter rules your second house. Jupiter Kazimi, I thought it would be also important to mention because of Jupiter's rulership over your second house. This is happening at 6 degrees of Leo in your 10th house. So, this energy could bring a certain degree of financial clarity. This is prior to the solar eclipse that will take place also in August. This Simi could bring clarity, could bring visibility, could bring some financial opportunities. And this could also make you realize that you suddenly are able to kind of follow the right, most aligned path that offers that sense of growth, that offers that sense of expansion. This could be also a time when you might be making some important decisions regarding some significant partnerships, new projects, investments, for example. This energy brings some clarity, confidence. So it's a perfect moment for taking these important steps forward. And this is also when you will feel like you are able to align with your vision. So some beautiful, beautiful energies. I think 2026 will bring its challenges, but I think it will be a good year for Scorpios, for us Scorpios, especially. I think it will bring some good rewards, some interesting rewards for our hard efforts. Right, so thank you. Now, Sagittarius, Sagittarius, welcome to your 2026 money horoscope. So here we've got Saturn. Saturn, we'll look at Saturn today because Pluto is now fully gone from your second house. But Saturn is active. Saturn is moving into Aries, changing signs, establishing itself in brand new energies. So here, what does it mean for you? So here we'll look at your financial ruler, which is Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn and its influence in Aries in the 5th house. So first of all, we've got Saturn entering Aries, and that's happening on the 13th, 14th of February 2026. So whenever Saturn, your second house ruler, changes signs, this also indicates a certain degree of shift of energy in this area of your life. So here, Saturn moving into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. So this is already kind of telling us about something fresh, new, and different, a new approach even to your money, to your finances. With Saturn entering Aries, and that's the ruler of your second house, moving into the 5th, for many, this could manifest as starting a brand new business venture, a side hustle, monetizing your skills, your creative talents, for example. Saturn changing signs to Aries and transiting your 5th house, being the ruler of the second. This could also make you more cautious, especially when it comes to taking risks or making some risky decisions. Generally, this is a time to plan carefully, but at the same time, it's a time to avoid making any impulsive financial decisions. Here, with Saturn changing signs, Saturn could also help you understand What needs to be organized here in the financial area of your life? What needs more structure? And perhaps how to make your dreams a reality, especially if you feel like you want to monetize your skills and your talents. But at the same time, with Saturn entering Aries, this also indicates more discipline and more financial responsibility to a certain extent as well. Saturn is a planet of structure, order, and this also means that perhaps you'll have a more strategic approach to finances moving forward. And your focus on generally on long-term goals, long-term investments overall. This is also a time when you will be assessing, evaluating which income streams support sustainable growth and perhaps which don't. And at the same time, also around a similar time as Saturn enters Aries, we've got a Saturn and Neptune conjunction happening at 0 degrees of Aries. This is overall a combination of dreams and hopes in a way aligning with structure, practical action. So here Saturn is connected to discipline, order, boundaries, while Neptune is connected to vision, dream, mystical energy. And this energy highlights this really, really strong need to review, reevaluate your financial plans, your financial goals, your career objectives. We are looking at it from a larger perspective, but since it's Aries as well, where this is happening, it's not like a 10 years window, but maybe, the next 6 to 12 months. So this is a time to look at your goals, your objectives, next steps from a practical angle. Think about what you can achieve, what you want to achieve, and what is realistically achievable in 2026. In March, on the other hand, we've got a Saturn Cazimi happening at 4 degrees of Aries. So that's March the 25th. This is the very first Cazimi that will take place while Saturn is in Aries. And this Cazimi can bring some really interesting insights, realizations connected to your finances, to your career. And as you can see, this year is huge when it comes to realizing what's actually beneficial, what's sustainable when it comes to your financial goals, objectives, income streams, for example. This is a chance for you to identify which income streams, which projects are worth your energy, worth your time. This is a good time for setting concrete, lasting, achievable, realistic milestones as well. This is a time when you might commit to some really important project plan, something that offers financial security and stability. But here also with the Saturnian energy in Aries, it's a good time for making like a step-by-step plan, for example, for something that could offer that long-term stability. So as you can see, these are the important alignments I wanted to mention for you today. And now let's have a look at Capricorns. Capricorns, for you this year, we've got Aquarius ruling over your second house. So we will look at the traditional and the modern ruler. All right, so let's explore the energies from the very beginning, and we'll look at Mercury Cazimi happening in Aquarius at 1 degree of Aquarius on January the 21st. So here, Cazimis, they are very short-lasting influences. Overall, Mercury, Venus, Mars are combust for many, many days of January. But here, the Cazimis, the Mercury Cazimi opens this amazing opportunity for clarity, for some insights, interesting ideas, and this Kazimi could bring a much needed clarity when it comes to any important financial contracts, agreements, budgeting even. This energy gives you this amazing ability to see the bigger picture, especially when it comes to your long-term financial goals. So this day could overall bring the much needed financial clarity, a day of some news, decisions you might be making. Now, also during the same month, on January 23rd, we've got a Pluto Kazi happening at 3 degrees of Aquarius, and this is also happening in your second house. So we've got some transformations here as per the Plutonic energy, of course, significance. and connected to your finances, because generally Pluto tends to reveal, illuminate things that are hidden, misunderstood, clouded even. So Pluto here illuminates things that are hidden, but at the same time, it brings potential for deep and lasting transformation, change as well. So during this time, during this Pluto Cazimi, you might discover some really important blockages. You might be more aware of some blockages, things that hold you back from experiencing financial abundance, from growing financially. Pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to any synchronicities. This could be also a good time for reviewing your outgoings, your spending habits as well, even some partnerships in your life, because here we are looking at the bigger picture, but Pluto helps you to dig deep and understand things from a slightly deeper, different perspective overall. Then we've got your traditional ruler Saturn changes signs and enters Aries. So this is also a certain degree of a shift of energy that you will experience. And very often with the second house ruler in the fourth, we tend to invest some money into our home. This could see you investing some of your money into your home renovations, for example. You will be restructuring something at your home that will require some financial investments as well. So we are looking at long-term projects, long-term investments as well. But this Saturn changing signs could also indicate a certain degree of shift in your approach to money spending habits overall, and so some financial strategies as well. Saturn, of course, will also join forces, conjoin with Neptune at 0 degrees, which we'll explore next year as well. But this is about merging your vision, your ideas with plans. So this could also see you restructuring your home life. And this could be like a new chapter for your home without a doubt. But with Saturn entering Aries and Saturn ruling your second house, it could see you perhaps investing in a property that needs a lot of work. This sort of dynamics could appear. We've got Saturn as well in Aries. So as you can see, there's a lot happening in this Aries, but since Saturn is the ruler of your second house, it looks like there will be some money, some energy spent into your area of home. Of course, with Saturn transiting your fourth house, you building a foundation of your home foundation. Very often it's more difficult to reach your career milestones. They are often delayed. The energies are focused on your home, emotional security, stability. You're laying foundations for sustainable growth here at 2026 to 2028. So for this reason, now is the time to also commit to projects that can build that structure, that foundation, something that will pay off in the long term. On April 25th, Uranus enters Gemini, and Gemini, that will be your sixth house. Uranus generally can bring some shifts, shakeups, unexpected changes to your income situation. This could indicate more, perhaps some new unconventional income streams, ideas, how to manage your outgoings. There could be some new opportunities coming your way. And this is like a 7 years influence as well, which starts this in 2026. We had a little taste of it in 2025. So it could be connected some opportunities that come through technology and networking, some innovative, creative, modern solutions, for example. Yes, and also Saturn, and they both rule or co-rule your second house of income. This energy could most certainly indicate some sudden shifts in your approach to money, your relationship with money. It could also, this energy could bring some surprises. It could open new doors for connect that could help you to free yourself from things, habits, patterns, situations that are stagnant, that are restricting, limiting. So this energy offers a sense of liberation and growth in a way as well. Now we also have a Zimi happening in Gemini at 1 degree, but of course, Uranus is your ruler of the second house. So this energy brings inspiration and a heightened awareness, and maybe some new innovative, modern approaches to earning, to investing your money as well. Maybe some sudden insights, clarity about some new financial goals, opportunities that may come your way. It's a date to keep in mind. It will play out depending on your circumstances. This year, we start this brand new cycle of Aquarius and Leo eclipses. On February 17th, there is a solar eclipse in Aquarius at 28 degrees. So this is when we start this brand new cycle of eclipses on your second and the eighth house, a brand new phase that will last for 2 to 2.5 years. In July, the North Node will come here as well. So but a brand new cycle. And of course, with the eclipses, we look at the bigger picture. So 2026, 2028, this is the beginning of some new financial shifts, opportunities coming your way. And this eclipse in Aquarius could bring some shifts, new beginnings, some fresh opportunities for income, perhaps new business, new income stream, new financial ventures. Of course, Aquarian energy adds that element of innovation, forward thinking, originality as well. So really important new cycle that when you will reinvent this area of your life, and this cycle could offer new careers, new businesses, the energy that encourages thinking out of the box. And on July the 26th, the North Node enters Aquarius, the South Node Leo, but here for your second house influence. And this is an 18 months influence, a time of growth, and this is generally when you're stepping into a new financial phase of your life. Opportunities that emerge during this time, they will feel like things are finally aligning with your purpose, with the direction that you should be heading. The Aquarian energy brings themes connected to technology, media, original, unique approaches to earning money, to building your wealth. So opportunities during this time may arise through perhaps the digital work, digital marketing, online businesses, some technological ventures, for example. So, along with the eclipses influencing this area of your life, and of course, the eighth house and the North Node here will help you to generally, this is about relying more on yourself than on external influences, where the South Node will be. This is generally a time to move forward, explore something new, new approaches, new opportunities. It's about experimenting. Growth comes through experimentation, through taking calculated risks, especially in some new, unique, original, modern approaches, ventures. For example, the challenge here is clinging to the old patterns because this stops you from moving forward, achieving your purpose. All right, so thank you so much. Now let's have a look at Aquarius. Aquarius, welcome to your 2026 money overview. It's a big year because, of course, this year Neptune leaves your second house where it stayed for around 13, 14 years. So it's a massive shift of energy happening in the second part of January. And as Neptune leaves your second house, you will begin to feel more confident, especially when it comes to your financial area of your life and your financial decisions as well. This is when you will have a much clearer understanding of moving forward of your potentials, of your capabilities as well. Here, Neptune departing from this area of your life will also generally it could change your approach to budgeting, to managing your finances, to more practical approach. So you're moving from confusions, illusions, perhaps some overly idealistic financial ideas to more practical, especially after the lessons you've learned with Saturn leaving this area of your life, because Saturn brought the necessary lessons. Saturn brought perhaps more need for structure and discipline as well. So there were a lot of testing times and lessons, but here, as Saturn and Neptune leave this area of your life, you probably feel much stronger around your finances, around how to manage your finances, how to manage your outgoings more efficiently, more effectively. So this is a major, major shift taking place here as we begin this year. And then in February, between February the 25th and March the 20th, Mercury, the planet of our thinking processes, our rational mind, will turn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So this isn't a good time, first of all, for launching any new project, financial project, any businesses. This is a time to review, reassess, refine, especially your financial plans, any financial contracts, financial agreements. And it's a time to review, reassess your investments, your strategies, anything to do with your past financial decisions. See what worked, what's working, what isn't, what needs adjustments overall. Now, during this retrograde, Mars and Mercury will form a cazimi. That's a Mercury and the Sun conjunction, the sign of Pisces at 16 degrees in your second house. So generally with the Kazimis I mentioned, it's a day to keep in your diary. It's an essential day because this could be a day when perhaps you might receive some interesting opportunities. You might have an eye-opening conversation with someone that could really inspire you. So it's essential to keep note of these events because you never know what might happen, and this day could bring some sudden understanding to perhaps some strategies, goals, ideas you'll be dealing with. It could bring more clarity in terms of your income prospects, ideas, opportunities, for example. Mercury is still retrograde, but with the retrograde phase, this is when the clarity could emerge in terms of things that like ongoing matters, ongoing issues even as well. So Mercury Cazimi brings clarity. When it's retrograde, it often brings clarity to matters that perhaps we been dealing with, things that perhaps were kind of holding us back in a way. Now, on the 9th of June, a beautiful day, one of the luckiest day of the year, Venus and Jupiter conjunction in Cancer at 25 degrees. So a lucky financial day. Jupiter is your traditional ruler, the ruler of your second house. So it's a fortunate financial day that could bring some ideas, goals, clarity, opportunities for expansion in your income, savings, investments, even. So generally, it's a lucky day to remember about because the focus here is on sustainable, achievable goals, long-term gains, not necessarily something that is short lasting. So make the most of this alignment because here on August the 27th, we've got a lunar eclipse in Pisces. This is also when the North Node will depart from your second house as well. So this eclipse is connected to a certain degree of culmination, ending, realizations because we need to connect this lunar eclipse to the new moon that initiated this cycle. Think about those new beginnings connected to your finances, a new business, new income stream, career here. During this eclipse, eclipses often bring to light things that perhaps we are unaware of. They tend to accelerate the timeline as well. So this could be a time of some major realizations, breakthroughs, turning points in your career, in your business, in your partnerships. This could be also a time when you might be ending some financial arrangements, agreements, partnerships, especially those that no longer serve you. This could be connected to some opportunities. This could be connected to perhaps you finalizing some important projects, goals, ideas. This way, you're making space for new opportunities to come your way, perhaps more aligned opportunities that can help you grow. Pay attention to what surfaces around this time as well, because this is a moment for letting go in a way, yes, but at the same time you're preparing for a new chapter, in your financial situation to emerge as well, because eclipses tend, especially since the North Node is leaving this area of your life after 18 months, and eclipses tend to bring moments of realignment, financial renewal in a way as well. All right, so thank you very much. And now Pisces, welcome to your 2026 money overview. This is a really big year for you. You're starting a few important cycles. Of course, we've got Neptune changing signs, Saturn changing signs as well. So it's a massive, massive year when you're starting new cycles. And first of all, Neptune will enter Aries, and this is a really significant chapter for you as well. Neptune will stay here for around 14 years, while Saturn only for 2 years. So they bring very different energies. The Neptune is very dreamy and it boosts your imagination. This is about also reimagining what abundance, wealth truly mean to you. And this is when generally very often with Neptune in our second house, the jobs that we choose, the roles that we engage in, they need to align with our inner sense of self, with our purpose. So you might find yourself having this strong need to align your income stream with your purpose. At the same time, this is when your intuition will be very, very strong, and a lot of decisions that you will be making during this time, they will be guided by your intuition, by your vision as well. So this is a time when there will be on your mind a lot of dreams about ideas about your financial future. The goal here is to dream strategically, not to get lost in the fantasy world, because with Neptune in the second house, the money often tends to dissolve, go in and out if we don't think strategically. This is a very important message here for Neptune. Now, in February, Saturn will join Neptune. So Saturn represents very different energy because Saturn emphasizes discipline and responsibility, structure, growth, sustainability. With Saturn, it's more about building strong financial foundations. It's more about planning, strategic planning, and careful evaluation. It's about saving and investing as well, but in a strategic, cautious, careful manner. So here with Saturn, you need to commit to a goal. It doesn't have to be a 10 to 12 years goal. With Aries influence, things move fast. Even this transit is very fast. Saturn will reach the 14th degree of Aries during its stay in Aries in 2026. But this is about, it's essential to commit to a goal, a 6 months goal, this or 8 months goal, and work step by step. Sometimes with Saturn, initially the money might feel slightly tight. It's essential to be cautious of your outgoings, of your spendings. We also have a Saturn and Neptune conjunction here on February the 20th at 0 degrees of Aries. This is about aligning, it's happening in your second house, aligning your dreams with strategic action, strategic planning, because this is a very rare conjunction happening at 0 degrees of Aries, which is about new beginnings, initiation. It's about combining your dreams, your vision, your idea with discipline, strategy, strategic planning. This is about giving clarity to your actions, to your vision. So an amazing time overall. This is a brand new beginning, brand new chapter for your finances without a doubt. But at the same time, we're here with this conjunction. This could see you making some really important financial or career plans. This could be about stepping up your career ladder depending on your circumstances and your age. This is also about making some really big plans. This is about also aligning your vision, your plan, your goals with practical steps. It's about practical step-by-step planning, bringing your vision to reality, seeing what's achievable, what's possible, what's realistic and actionable as well. Now, in March, we've got the Neptune Cazimi on the 22nd and on the 25th, Saturn Cazimi. So Cazimi occurs when here Neptune will be conjoined the Sun and Saturn will be conjoined the Sun as well, 3 days after. So these are important dates to keep in your diary because during these days, those Cazimis bring clarity. Neptune Cazimi could bring some sudden insight, clarity around your financial goals, financial plans. Perhaps it could help you see some opportunities, financial ideas, goals, business ideas, career objectives more clearly. Things that perhaps were unclear or blurred you could suddenly see different angle. And the Saturn Casimir, on the other hand, this is more connected to step-by-step planning and long-term strategy. And at the same time, this could also help you to set realistic goals, realistic milestones to achieving your financial objectives, financial goal. But remember, Saturn is it's all about committing in a disciplined, cautious, strategic, structured manner. Now, on April the 16th, we've got a Cazimi conjunction in Chiron Cazimi at 26 degrees of Aries. Now, this is an important Cazimi because it's about healing. It could help you heal some wounds related to finances, to money. It could help you to let go any limiting beliefs around money. This is a wonderful time for healing any misconceptions you may have about your ability to earn, ability to achieve, for example, as well. Then Chiron will be retrograde from 17th of September. So this is in those final months of the year. This is when perhaps some old financial fears and habits could come up to the surface, giving you an opportunity to heal, reflect on those past experiences, heal those unresolved money blockages, money challenges as well. And this can help you to strengthen your financial situation, and it can help you grow in the long term. So thank you so much, Pisces, and all the best.